In September of 2007, the Tokyo Broadcasting System, or TBS, made an announcement on Clannad's official website. The anime adaptation of Key's visual novel was going to premiere in October, and to celebrate the series' broadcast debut, they were going to release something special for fans of the series. According to TBS, quote, "To commemorate the start of the TV anime broadcast, Clannad canned bread will be released at Akihabara Station. Bread is a very important item in Clannad. This is a limited time, limited quantity special sale, so be sure to check it out." End quote. The bread was being made by Pan Akimoto and would be sold exclusively at a vending machine in Akihabara Station for 350 yen, which was just over $3 at the time. You'd have 7 different flavors to choose from: chocolate, strawberry, matcha, butter, raisin, blueberry, and milk. The plan was to sell it during the month of October, but since it was a limited edition product, it could sell out before the end of the month. If you went to the end of Platform 6 on Akihabara Station's Sobu rail line, you'd find 2 vending machines, one that sold umbrellas and another that sold canned bread. But starting on September 30, 2007, one day earlier than expected, Pan Akimoto's standard bread cans were swapped for Clannad ones. The promotion appears to have been a success from the very beginning. Even on the day before the promotion was officially scheduled to start, it was apparently selling well enough to be restocked in the afternoon, and things only picked up from there. On the first day of October, there was a line of people waiting to get their hands on the bread. According to the Akajiki Said blog, quote, "While I was there, I asked someone who looked like a kiosk staff member if they would have stock until the end of October, and they replied that they probably would have stock until the end of October, but because deliveries wouldn't keep up, it would likely continue to be a cycle of additional stock being added and then immediately selling out." End quote. And it looked like that's exactly what happened, with the vending machine being completely sold out by the end of the first day. Fans who wanted to buy some and weren't able to make frequent trips to the one vending machine where they were being sold would just have to get lucky. Clannad's canned bread would routinely sell out, and sometimes the machine wouldn't be restocked until the next day, leaving anyone who made the trip just staring at the sold out sign. Even if everything wasn't sold out, standing in line wasn't a sure thing either. Since there was no limit to the number of cans you could buy, when people got the chance, many were buying at least 7 to complete their collections, but Clannad fans weren't the only ones standing in line. Due to the limited nature of the product and how hard it was to buy, some people saw Clannad canned bread as an easy way to make a few bucks. Here's how rumors from Jaburo described the scene in front of the vending machine. Quote, "By the way, when I visited around 1:30 p.m. on October 8th, there was a line, and I thought about joining it to buy some, but it wasn't moving at all, so I gave up. The reason the line wasn't moving was because the vending machine was completely sold out. In other words, everyone was waiting for the bread to be restocked before they could even think about buying any. Even so, I wonder why the sellers limited the distribution channel so much. Do they really think that one vending machine can satisfy the appetites, or rather collector spirits, of the big guys and girls in Akihabara? After restocking, it will surely sell out in just a few minutes. The people lining up are probably either hardcore fans or resellers, so there are probably hardly any people just buying 1 or 2. Buying a set is the norm. Selling them this way only pleases scalpers, and I feel sorry for genuine fans. In fact, I heard that someone bought 20 sets by directly negotiating with the person restocking the shelves." End quote. Anyone who purchased a complete set of bread cans could easily double their money. Several listings on Yahoo Auctions sold for more than 5,000 yen, or just over $43. Pony Canyon, the company that was running the promotion, did try to make some adjustments. It looks like they started selling bread out of some of the kiosks around the vending machine. That could reduce the size of the line, but it wouldn't address the bigger problems. With so many people purchasing them, the supply wouldn't last very long. And on October 16, 2007, TBS announced that the sale of Clannad canned bread had been discontinued, and anyone who wandered over to the vending machine would only find the normal cans and a note informing them that the Clannad bread cans were all sold out. Even though canned Clannad bread appears to have sold much better than anyone anticipated, it resulted in a frustrating experience for fans who wanted to purchase it. But fans hope that this would encourage future promotions to be run better, to increase the number of products produced to discourage reselling, and to increase the number of places where things could be bought so that fans in other parts of the country could have a chance to buy them. And fans wouldn't have to wait very long to see if changes would be made. The very next year, Clannad canned bread would make its way back to Akihabara. On September 26, 2008, TBS announced that Clannad canned bread would return to celebrate the release of Clannad After Story, which was scheduled to air in October. They would be sold in the same vending machine and still cost 350 yen apiece. There would also be 7 flavors: chocolate, raisin, vanilla milk, tropical, brown sugar, purple sweet potato, and honey lemon. And the chocolate flavor would be sold with 2 different designs, so the number of cans you need to buy for a complete set increased to 8. And the flavors weren't the only thing that changed this time around. There were also no set sales dates. Sales would begin on October 1st, but it would only last until the bread was sold out. They also decided to restrict when you'd be able to buy them. On the first day, they would only be available for sale between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. Then, from October 2nd onwards, they would only be sold between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. But if the bread sold out during this period, it wouldn't be restocked until the next day. They also reserved the right to limit the number of cans that each person could purchase and decided to sell bread cans from nearby kiosks. Initially, fans were optimistic. When Akiba OS visited Akihabara Station on October 1st, it looked like there may be enough to go around. Quote, "I spoke to someone who appeared to be a kiosk employee nearby, and they said that more than 80 people had lined up when sales started, and that they had prepared more products than last year. When I visited for the interview, the line was gone, and I was able to buy the canned bread without waiting. All 8 varieties were in stock, so it seemed like it was okay to take your time on the first day." End quote. but unfortunately for Clannad fans, that didn't last for very long. It looks like they decided not to limit how many items an individual could purchase. On the first day, it looks like they allowed people to buy them in bulk. According to the Hikikomori blog, quote, "The turnover was so fast that several vendors were constantly going back and forth with boxes of bread cans to replenish the stock. One case has 24 cans, so it would cost 8,400 yen, but there are always people who buy more than one case. And I saw someone who bought not just one case, but 6 cases. I wonder what they're going to do with that many. I really hope they're not reselling them." End quote. On October 6th, TBS announced that they were all out of the Clannad bread cans. Just like last time, anyone who didn't see the announcement and made their way to the vending machine would be greeted by Pan Nakamoto's standard canned bread and a sign telling them that the Clannad bread was all gone. While this marked the end of Clannad canned bread, it helped to popularize collaborations between anime and canned bread companies, something that would continue for years.